Guys, welcome to another move by move episode. It's already episode number 21. Check out the recent ones. We are not doing as great, in my opinion, but I'm still trying to commentate, trying to give my, insights. So let's start with d4. Our opponent from Spain, Michael Knight, he responds with c5. Let's go for kind of main line, knight f3, and he plays e6. So there are usually a couple of plans here. Like some people recently started playing b3. And yeah, that's a reasonable option. Some people play g3 here, but I think it's still a great choice to push in the center by playing d4. And after it takes knight d4, we take the center. Now let's go knight c3 and knight f6. We can go to 4 knights attack, queen c7. I'll probably just respond with bishop e3, and let's after a6 I'll play a3, just not letting this bishop jump to b4. And there are multiple options, and the main one is of course to play f4, trying to take the center. And there is like a cute line, knight d4, bishop d4, queen f4, and then there is like a huge compensation for the pawn. d6 is a move, not the main one from what I can remember, so I'll probably respond with bishop e2, and my plan is to maybe put my bishop to f3 and then somewhere attack on the king side. So if he goes castle right now, I think I'll strike with g4, and then it will depend, like there is knight d4 and other options. So let's go for maybe a long castle, because I think it will be interesting to see what black can come up with. They can go long castle as well, but I just don't believe this square on b6 will be safe enough. He plays castle, and now I want to start by pushing g4, and my next move is to play g5, of course. So knight d4, and now there is like a huge calculation which I need to make. It's either to play bishop d4, and then he plans to go e5, bishop e3, and then take on g4. But the problem I see with this is that he weakens this d5 square, which will be very crucial. I might take this way, and d5 going back doesn't change a lot of things actually. Because let's say takes, and then bishop g4, I still think that this knight d5 and then potential rook g1 is very dangerous for black pieces. So let's respond with queen d4. There is nothing I can see. Maybe there is knight g4, bishop g4, and then e5, but then I have some ideas of going for knight d5. So it's a very interesting position. It will be very exciting to analyze afterwards, but I just don't see, like, yeah, there is a plan of going b5 as usual in Sicilian structures, but it's very complicated to do a lot of good stuff here. So let's see what he will come up with. It's very interesting. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you're enjoying this series, what you want me to do in this specific episode. We'll try something else while analyzing the game. You will have actually two boards on the analysis tab. So you will have the main one, which you see right now, and we will have, like, I'll insert a board from ChessBase, so we can kind of go alone on both boards, where I show like some games, soft top jams. So I think I'm trying to be better at this, and I hope you can support this video. Just like, comment, really appreciate it. All right, he's thinking, and he has to think here, because if he tries to play an e5 and then take on g4, the other thing is, like, I'm talking about knight d5 jumps, but the other thing here is that if he takes on g4, I'll have potential to go for attack on g5. He goes bishop c6. e5 is still something that I have to calculate pretty thoroughly. And now e5, let's say I play g5, he wants maybe to play knight d7. Another option for me here is just to respond with bishop f3, and after e5 I'm going back, and I'm still trying to kind of set up this beautiful square. Another point here, guys, for Sicilian structure specifically, what he's trying to play right now is to play e5, and let's say queen d2 takes, and knight d7, knight d5. So this is something I also have to calculate. Very important thing. Bishop f3, e5, queen d2, e takes f4, bishop f4. I should be kind of safe, but another thing I'm noticing is, what if I gotta play bishop f3, you know why? Just to make sure this pawn is protected on e4. If he tries e5, that's alright, I go queen d2, and after takes, I'm attacking this pawn on d6, and my main move is knight d5, of course. Like, knight d5 plays a crucial role in most of the lines in this position. And to me, also, let's say g5 idea, knight d7, and he'll try to play e5. But what I can do is to go queen d2 back, so e5 is not actually attacking both queen and pawn. And then if he plays e5, I can respond with f5 and, you know, try to basically mate him with my pawns on the king side. He gotta act quickly in a way, because now he goes this way. I go queen d2 as planned, and now I'm threatening f5. He might play rook d8 and try to d5, I mean, but that doesn't work. And knight d7, I go bishop d6, takes. Knight d5, he has some compensation, but I think it's just like an extra pawn, so I don't think he can go for it. Instead, he might go rook d5, rook d8, but then I go, let's say, g5 and knight d5. Or I can respond with knight d5 immediately. And again, like, this square in Sicilian defense plays probably the main role in most times. So yeah, this game is going to be long, so stay tuned. Maybe I'll cut something out of the game, but let's see. So far it's an interesting one. Rook d8, I'm trying to think what's the best way to kind of strike in the center. I can just continue with g5, knight d5, takes, and knight d5, bishop e4. Like, I'm scared of potential knight d7, knight d5, knight c4. Like, because I don't want to take on e5 with my bishop, because then I give him like this 2 bishops advantage, and I'm not sure if it's actually gonna be good. And other than that, I'm just trying to calculate. I don't see like rook d8. The main problem with rook d8 is I think I have g5, and after knight d7 I can take on d6, and takes. There is maybe queen a5. Yeah, what if I go g5 now? Like, I'm just wondering, because knight d7. Oh, nah, but bishop d6 though. Like, takes, and I'm up a pawn, and knight e5 I go bishop first take and then bishop e2, and that's an extra pawn in the endgame. If he goes knight e8, guys, I mean, I don't think I have to tell you that it's just terrible move, because it's so passive, and I just jump with my knight to d5. And then if he ends up trading it, I think I'm completely winning, because I don't like this bishop. This knight will have some time to spend, because let's say queen d7, knight c7, and then reroute bishop d6, and now I take, and let's see if he goes for queen a5. Then I might, actually he goes for the endgame, which I didn't think was a great idea, because I just take a pawn, and from what I can see, yeah, I mean, my pawn on g5 is kinda bad, but you can't really do anything with this. As long as I play rook d1, it should be kinda bad for black. Let's see. I mean, everything might still happen. I have kind of these pawn islands, which are not the best. Bishop on c6, you know, points towards this e4 pawn, but this endgame is, I mean, to me it's very good for white, of course. What can be done? I mean, I'm not sure. Let's go rook d1, and the point is, even if knight c4 is playing at any point, I mean, it's still not the best thing that can be done. King d1, and king just walks to d4 or f4. Yep, king d2. Let's go king e3, and then let's go for king d4. And the point is, knight is not moving as well. Like, he gotta do something else. And once my king protects, you know, the point is my bishop on e2 actually looking towards both diagonals, and it's very important, because this bishop right now only kind of threatens this one. But, you know, I can now start thinking where to put my knight from c3, because look, it doesn't do a lot of stuff here. What if I respond with knight d5, then knight b4, or wait, takes? I think that's good enough, no? I mean, he might block, but I think it's just bad. King e6 is not played, because knight c7, knight a6, so king has to go somewhere, and king d4 comes. And if it's not king e6, then king d4 comes with a lot of power. Since I attack the knight, knight will have to move. I go king c5, my king is activated, which is very important specifically for endgames, and it's getting very tough for black pieces to play. So I think we're about to win the game, and if takes, I think knight will not be able to set up a good blockade, because king d4, my bishop is a monster. It's an open position, and open positions bishops are monsters. I have a4 ideas, I have just king d4, b3, c4 just to create second passer, just to help d5 pawn and then just continue pushing. Yeah, he can create one of his own on the king side, but I don't think it will be enough to win the game. So I think we're very close to be winning. Yeah, he actually goes this way, he tries to set up a blockade, that's understandable. And what if I play a4? And I'm not sure if I should play, because let's say king d4, king d6, and I play a4 now, because there might be some potential checks. I'm just worried that there will be like a lot of stuff I might miss. So and I'm just trying to find the best way. b3, king d4, and some sort of little Zugzwang takes, bishop d1. Yeah, eventually, guys, it's gotta be some sort of Zugzwang, which I gotta, you know, calculate. a4 takes, bishop a6, knight g4, king d4, knight h2, c4, c5 starts moving. Like, this just gotta be winning, but again, anything might still happen, so I just gotta find a way, the most precise. So I don't think this is the worst idea, but then maybe, yeah, let's go for b3, kind of trying to go for c4, and or maybe a4, because I also want to take this way, right? And if he goes knight c5 at some point, I mean, I might go a5, and then I'm like, these moves will eventually run out. So let's go for a4, b4, a5. Now let's go for c4. I wanna see what he will be doing, because knight d7 afterwards, I think it's just gotta be extremely bad. Bishop g4, bishop f5. Like, eventually he should run out of moves. That's what just should happen. This h5, bishop g6, and then h4, I play bishop f5, and then I'm just waiting for him to basically kind of lose control, you know? Let's go for I'm not sure, what if I go for bishop c2, a4, a5? Like, I'm trying to also be extremely careful here. Let's go this way, knight b3, king c3 probably, knight c5, king b4. Maybe I should walk this way, like, as long as there are no threats. I mean, yeah, goes this way, probably a smart decision. And now let's go for, I'm not sure, because let's say bishop c8, knight b3 check, right? Then king c3, knight c5, or I can go and start walking towards this pawn, and then eventually what might happen is, so what if I go this way, this, let's go this way, king e4, knight d2, king d3, this king e4. Yeah, that's a very tough endgame, guys. Actually, I kind of underestimated the power of this, but it just gotta be winning somehow. King e4, or let's say king e3. Nah, king e4. Knight d2, maybe king f5. Knight c4, king g5, king d5, king h4. Let's go this way. Knight b3, bishop g4. And then what I'm still trying to accomplish is actually, you know, try and push these pawns. King d4. King e4. I hope it's not a draw, because it's not a repetition. King d3 and then bishop d1. Yep, this way. And now king d4, and he kind of runs out of moves, like, in a way, because now I play king e4, king f5, and I'm just trying to go this way. Let's go this way. Yeah, now king f5 is coming. So I think I should be able to win this one. Let's say king c5. I think I can just continue marching, and king c4. I have d6 and then king e6. Should be a win. And he has a very low time. It's going for 15 minutes already. Oh my god, that's crazy. But it is what it is. Yeah, I think it's a win. I just see this option, like I'm calculating this, but bishop e2, I just control. And if knight goes away, I mean king f5, king g5, king h4. As soon as I take this pawns on king side, I mean I don't really worry about this pawns. So king f5, king g5 should be a way to go. Let's go for bishop e2, and now the point is g4. I just take, and he doesn't really have any options. And if he continues knight b6, I mean king f5, knight c4 takes, my pawn promotes because it's just far away. So these pawns are untouchables. He might go for, I mean he can't even go for this pawn really, but king f5, king g5, king h4, I'm about to win the game. And I think it's ending here because I don't see a lot of opportunities for black pieces. I think it's over. King f5, trying to take the pawns. Knight c4 just ends the game, takes. Knight a4 just takes on g5. Knight c3, I mean bishop d3 just restrict. So yeah, probably resignations incoming. 20 seconds on the clock left. Tries to sack. King g5. Alright, the only chances, of course, kinda use this, let's say, dark square, but the point is there is still a pawn this way, so let's go king f6, king e6, and I'll just eventually protect king d6, king c5. It's a win. Let's go. Now let's get to the analysis. Analysis time. I think I played a pretty solid game, and you know, game review tab actually agrees with me. I played like 87.4. My opponent played 81.8. And let's start by looking at the opening. So e4, c5, knight f3, takes, knight c6, knight c3, queen c7, bishop e3, a6. So there are actually multiple options to play this position. You know, when I was younger, I kind of played this system with I think queen d2, knight f6, f4, and bishop b4. And there's like a long theory like bishop d3, there's d5 move, there is knight g4, all that stuff. But you know, usually it's kind of, I don't want to allow bishop b4. I mean, it's playable for white here. I actually made a lot of draws here because, you know, it's getting very dry after all. But that's why I'm kind of switching to a3. I mean, still I would probably play bishop d3, queen d2 somewhere in classical game, but a3 just to, you know, prevent bishop b4 from happening. And generally very, very solid system for white. Knight f6, f4, and d6 is played. And here, as you saw, I played bishop e2. And now let's switch to the, you see it on the right side of your screen right now. I want to show you a game played between Grandmaster Alexander Grishuk and Cory George Moy. I'm not sure who that guy is. That's the game from the World Cup of 2017. So they kind of had the same position: 6, knight c3, queen c7, bishop e3, a3, knight f6, f4, and after d6, bishop e2 is apparently not the main move, which I kind of didn't know it. I mean, to me it seems like a normal move, and the main move is queen f3. And so the point of queen f3, you kind of want to set up some attacks, and bishop develops to d3 and not to e2, f3, which I thought during the game. So knight d4, bishop d4, b5, bishop d3, bishop b7, bishop f6, takes, and now f5. The point of f5 is basically try to shake kind of light squares. As you might see, like white have right, then f takes a6, right, then potentially maybe queen h5 checks. And that's quite a typical idea for the specific structures, because black at some point want to play f5, maybe trade on e4, and have a very strong bishop on g7. But now, this bishop on like dark squared bishop will still be good, but you're playing against this light squared bishop black have. Bishop e7, castle, queen c5 check, king goes to h1, and now h5. Once again, typical maneuvers, takes, a4, b4, knight e2, and now you start playing against e6 pawn, a5, queen h3, attacking on e6, queen f5, bishop c4, again attacking on e6, and it's getting very tough for black pieces to defend. Bishop d7, knight d3, queen d4, bishop goes back. Of course, we're not going to give it up. Rook g8, rook f4, and it doesn't seem like Grishuk has a strong advantage, but he won in a matter of like next 7 moves. He strikes by playing e5, very strong move. The point is, of course, like d takes e5, knight e5, knight takes on d7, pawn on e6 falls. That's the idea of white. And if you play d5, you're just basically blocking the bishop on b3, doesn't save. Bishop d5 is still happening, queen on e3 is looking towards this bishop on e6, on d7, and also after e takes d5, there is of course e6, and as you might actually see, the position is just falling apart. Queen f3, rook g5, rook f6, pin on e file, queen g4, rook f7, and bishop about to be taken. Black resigned in this chess game. So let's get back to my game. Play bishop e2 again, not the worst one. Queen d2, bishop d7, castle, and now castle. So that's why kind of short castle in this position didn't really make sense to me, because g4 appears to be very strong. And once again, knight d4 is a good move. Queen d4, bishop c6, and now I play bishop f3, which is not the best option. Apparently after b5, I'm actually getting in some sort of little trouble. Let's put it this way, just b5, a5, and just try to attack on the queen side. So you see how the dynamics in Sicilian change every move. Like, it's so hard to determine. Like, I thought after bishop f3 I'm threatening g5, but I have to play g5 immediately, and after knight d7 just going for h4 and then try to set up an attack. And now I'm just a bit faster at this point. Knight d5, h5, and now it's just slowly getting to black king side. So, but bishop f3 is just, as it turns out, very slow. e5, that kind of helped me in a way. Queen d2 takes, and now this pawn is slowly falling. Rook d8, g5, and now this knight, of course, not goes to e8 but goes to d7, and now I thought it's gonna be good to take. Apparently move like h4 just is slightly better, but I was thinking like bishop knight e5. Apparently after bishop e2 I'm still alright. I was like, I don't want to make this knight jump to e5. I would rather take pawn and play a pawn up in the endgame. Takes, knight e5, and the computer agrees. I mean, I'm plus, let's say, 0.9, and not huge on this level. It's not like winning, but let's say now he plays b5. Computer plays h6. I honestly don't really understand the idea behind h6, because you just trade pawns, but the idea of h6 is just kind of, you know, it's computer play. h6 takes and g6, and then take h pawn with the king through h7, h6. But after b5 I realized rook d1, and like there is a huge trouble. The endgame is absolutely winning. King, yeah. And again, like, I wasn't on time. I needed to go king d4, king c5 immediately, and that's what I kind of underestimated. Let's say takes, king e7, and now he puts some sort of let's say fortress here, because knight is active. g5, c4, takes, knight d7, but position is still technically winning. So you know, I made some mistakes. Even here it's like +2 only, and computer is like kind of shaking, and I kind of agree, like I didn't play it perfect way. After bishop c8 there is apparently knight b3, which he played in the game as a draw. King d4, yeah, you see, it's very important dynamics. Like I managed to get a winning position and just messed it up, because look, I needed to get my king to d4 and to c5, and then to b6 just take the whole queen side. I decided to go a different way and almost paid for it. Knight c5, king d4, and here he started to get into some sort of zugzwang. King d4, he basically was running out of moves. King c5, bishop e2, king f5, and of course the game ends right here. I mean, there is nothing interesting to spectate. it's a win in episode 21 of my series. Yeah, some games are terrible, some games are not that terrible, but I'm trying to play my best, trying to explain you the best way possible so you can learn, I can learn. Because, really, every game I learn something new. What line, what move, what ideas to play. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.